Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for supporting our channel, and I don't take it for granted. William Ruto's cabinet is looming, and any time from now, we expect that when the president will come home from the UK and the US, he is going to attend a United Nations General Assembly in US, that is in New York. Then after that, he will fly back home. So we expect, and of course, we're keeping tabs with whatever is going on. But in this video, I'm trying to look at emerging wrangles in that process, but also reveal to you why Kipchumba Murkomen might be headed to Interior. And what do you think might be the reason behind that? Wanted to get this information. I got it somewhere. William Ruto, someone was talking to Ruto. This is Didimas Baraza. Sorry. William Ruto, our president, kindly order Hilary Mutyambai to deploy the over 100 police officers that were hovering around Raila Odinga and the 20 GK cars, the CSYs, that the same gentleman was using to maintain peace at Kerio Valley. Alafu, he tagged National Kipchumba Murkomen saying, ama namna gani? So guys, ama namna gani? What do you think? What is your projection into that cabinet? Because this is something that is very key. Now, what Didimas Baraza is talking about there, he is talking about the position or the person that is supposed to make that move is the CS in charge of Interior. I don't think it takes a presidential order. The mere fact that he decided to pick Kipchumba Murkomen and tag Kipchumba Murkomen asking Ama namna gani pointed out a possibility that he is revealing what would be a role of Kipchumba Murkomen. Now, what can I confirm as the bold here? That in my projection, Kipchumba Murkomen will have to cede his position as a senator of Elgeyo Marakwet and perhaps take up a cabinet position. This is because, despite the fact that in the first regime by Uhuru Ruto government, Kipchumba Murkomen was the leader of majority in the Senate. And this time round, when the House leadership positions were being discussed and actually were being allocated, he did not offer himself for that position. And he is in the list of the people around the UDA party that are really poised to take up cabinet roles. And this will be an interesting bit because what is drawing the attention of many is the way Ruto is going to name that cabinet. In 2013, Jim Wanjigi revealed that there were cabinet positions that were shared between Ruto and Uhuru quite in the middle. That there are names that were forwarded by Ruto and there are names that were forwarded by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta then. So these are things that these are issues that are again coming at this moment. And actually, my little experience working also in the media as in these political desks, I realized that there is a lot of emphasis on the cabinet. If you want to know how government, if you want to know how the cow, the way it was divided, you look at the cabinet. Then from the cabinet, you can see different scenarios, or you can draw different diagonals so that you know what exactly played out. Now, there is one interpretation to it that UDA leaders are calling for President Uhuru Kenyatta, or rather, for President William Ruto to withdraw Raila Odinga security, which to me it's far-fetched. If that's what this Didimas Baraza means, I don't appreciate and I least think of it as being a probability. If someone wants to just make sure that we have the good peace, we enjoy the good peace and avoid unnecessary friction, is to touch Raila. Because Raila is very fragile. He's very fragile. And when he mentioned about the 1 million march to Supreme Court, there are people that took it lightly. But for me, I have never analyzed it. But I would tell William Ruto, the president, that Raila was simply setting a trap for them. Because Raila have known very well that Ruto is the kind of person, the kind of the president that will stick and will be like, will remain unmoved, come what come way, come what come may. Remember when he came out and to oppose the handshake. So that angle of Didimas Baraza calling for Raila Odinga security to be withdrawn so that they can be deployed in Rift Valley, to me it doesn't work, and it's not really what was the intention. Someone was just using that opportunity, and this is because there are people around Deputy President William Ruto that have an understanding to what exactly is working the kitchen. And what can you see? You see, for a leader like Didimas Baraza to come out with such a leak, it shows me from where I'm seated that Ruto is micromanaging. President Ruto is micromanaging the politics, or rather government, especially the cabinet issue, with at different layers of leadership. There are decisions or there are issues that are addressed as plenary, maybe with the same platform where Gachagua, Mudavadi, and the other party leaders are. But I can also see President Ruto as a man who has his own deep state. Remember recently when he was going to Naivasha, when he was in the Air Force One, we saw Oscar Sudi coming out of that car, coming out of the plane, and Kenyans were really shocked. How? But again, that is how our politics is. And Oscar Sudi at one point was even threatening the county commissioners in Uasin Gishu during the inauguration ceremony of Kotimoja that they will have to leave. That's something that really emerged. So in the light of this, I choose to take the direction that Didimas Baraza was pointing out to a Kipchumba Murkomen being in a position to make such a decision, that when you get to power, maybe you have to. So we wait and see whether that can go. And in that context, I want to look at really what do you think is happening? Because William Ruto seems to be learning a lot of lessons from his work and his tenure with the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. And I may not be wrong to see that Ruto is going for loyalty. And such a docket like that of interior security, he will need most loyalty. Why? The predecessor or the previous holder of that office, CS Matiang'i, was very close to President Uhuru Kenyatta, number one. Number two, he was in charge of cabinet. He actually was slightly above of other cabinet secretaries. Actually, he was coordinating cabinet activities and projects. So that makes me see that in the desk of Matiang'i, of the former CS Matiang'i, are a lot of classified information that are critical to the regime. So for William Ruto to gather that and just run it in a manner that will be so much or easy, I see him going for someone like Kipchumba Murkomen. Remember, let me tell you, if there is the highest security organ of the country is the National Security Council. The National Security Council is what works with the National Security Advisory Council. This is the team that allegedly reported to have gone to Chebukati in Bomas. And so the CS Interior is a member of National Security Council. What does that mean? That if there are decisions that are going to be made at plenary of the National Security Council, then you need people that are on your side. So whether it is something that is going to help into the Rift Valley, and we can also not wish away that Ruto might be is looking at this as a very strategic position to make sure that the Rift Valley security issues are addressed. Remember, this has been a perennial problem that People have wrote articles and stories have been done, but there is still no lasting solution that have been offered. So this is something that you can also see here. And I would appreciate if Ruto is going for the cabinet of picking political elite. Why do you need to go for political elite? You need to go for political elite because in the spirit of accountability and transparency, the president has made it very clear that the members of the cabinet will be going to the parliament to be answerable to the MPs and answer questions in parliament. That means that if you don't go for political elite, because in parliament, the people who are parliamentarians are politicians. So in your cabinet, you also need someone who will be in a position to express himself and really navigate the government agendas in the parliament. This is very critical. And the political elite, what I'm saying, political elite is someone who's a politician, but is also someone with the credentials. Now, some people just go to pick. For example, I'm using the wrong example here, Rashid Echesa, and I'm using the wrong example. So that failure to pick political elite sometimes will expose the cabinet when there are really some questions that need to be answered. And the docket of interior is a docket that, for many times, let me say something, that when C.S. Matiang'i was in charge, C.S. Matiang'i was seen as someone behaving like a policeman, while he's not a policeman. He was an elite. He's not a political elite, but he's an elite from the private sector. So, but when he came to that ministry, because of the nature of the policies and the administrative changes that are done in the forces, and you are actually the image of the forces, or of the uniform, the forces internally, not that of the KDF. You seem to be seen as a behaving as a police. So if you pick a lawyer, this is going to streamline. And I may also see this as Ruto wants then to put someone who will insist on rule of law and, the elite politics, or elite running the government to elite on being all the court orders and revisit programs. There are a lot. If you've been keen, there is a lot of revisit programs in this in this government, and you can't blame them. Sometimes I say that's the nature of it. I'm one person that believes that to some extent, government cannot be that clean. Impunity will always find its way there because not everyone means well. So Ruto is working well with the tribesmen, and it seems to be running the show. But something is keen, and this is a very unsolicited advice. I'm not a specialist in this, but Ruto should make sure that when we will see the cabinet, we will see the footprints of Mudavadi, footprints of Gachagua, our deputy president, footprints of so-and-so, and different layers, so that when things go south, you can start dividing the blame. Oh, that CS was brought by XYZ, that ministry was under XYZ, and with that you can manage expectations. When you put someone somewhere and things are not working out, you will actually see. Remember, the three dockets most sensitive, especially now: treasury, agriculture, energy, and I now add internal security, because you never know what Azimio are going to do, the next course of action. You never know whether they're going to do military opposition in parliament, and with that, you just need a lot of loyalty. Remember, today the MPs decided that if Martha Koome was going to attend the parliament induction, then they were going to walk out, and so Madam Martha Koome decided not to be part of it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my bold.